Hi, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome. Welcome to Mom Life Unfiltered. I'm so grateful that you're here. Yeah. So where do I start? Um, I think I was around about 14, 15. Um, so basically that's when I got my period. So is that considered a late bloomer? I don't know, but ever since I got my period, I used to have very intense period cramps, to the point where um, I would get hospitalized. So basically, I think the severe cramps started when I was 16, 17, right about that time. I can't remember exactly when, but all I remember is that I would get like almost like blackouts, like you'll feel like a dizzy spell, and I would be so nauseous. I'll start vomiting bile, like yellow stuff, and to a point where I would be hospitalized, like legit, pain tablets, and nobody knew what was wrong. I think this went on up until I was like, I think 25 years old. But that's fast forward. I'll tell you now what it was. But obviously, when I was in college, I think um, probably year two or year three in, I had really severe ones, like the worst cramps ever, like where um I fainted, like um to a point where I almost fainted. I can't even remember if I completely blacked out. I was vomiting bile, like those yellow stuff. I don't even know what the correlation is like. Yeah, maybe it's just really in intense pain and your body's just telling you that it can't take the pain, but the pain was so intense, guys, like, oh, I can't explain it. The worst pain ever. And okay, so fast forward, obviously that used to be in Namibia. I'm from Chumab. I'll do an intro video another time. So that was in Namibia. So I moved to Cape Town right about when I was 25. So basically, no, then it was diagnosed, I think, when I was 26 or 27. Yeah. So I used to continue with the severe, terrible bad cramps, bad period pains, where I would get hospitalized. I had to do, so I started seeing a gynae, like a good gynae specialist. This was back in 2013, on and off, in the hospital, doing all type of tests, and to a point where she said, like, listen, we don't know what's wrong, but we will have to do like a surgery, like they said, what was it? It's called a laparoscopy. So basically, they made holes in my navel, um, and on the side of my belly, like really tiny holes. So they went in microscopically with a camera, and yeah. So basically, then they diagnosed me with endometriosis. Um, wait, I'm not remembering the story well. No ways. I think they said they were gonna do laparoscopy. Yeah, okay, so hold on. Yes, when they did that surgery, it ended up being a major surgery. They ended up doing another cut down my navel, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember nicely, but they had to actually cut out like severe growth um inside my, yeah, my womanhood, like my the uterus, around my ovaries there was a lot of scar tissues, and basically I think the surgery took around about 4 hours, which was quite long. Yeah, so it was really intense, like getting out of it, and just I was happy that they diagnosed me with what was wrong, what was the matter. Like I just felt so useless and hopeless, like all the other women can take period cramps with like an improvement, and me, I'm like, this intense pain. So at least I knew what was wrong and why I was getting all those blackouts or disease spills. Oh my goodness, I can't say that word, blackouts. So yeah, so after that, yeah, so basically they cut out a lot of growth, basically scar tissue growth. And then also they flushed out my tubes because I was like, I was grateful that I didn't lose. It could have gone the other way around. I was grateful that I didn't have to lose my uterus. I didn't have to lose my ovaries, one or two, nothing. So I was really grateful. I prayed on that. I was like, God, you know my heart. Ever since I was like a little girl, I always wanted to be a mother. So I'm so grateful that it was just scar tissue that was cut out, and I was okay after that, legit. So, I think that was around about 20, yeah, 26, 27 years of age. So for the next 3 years, between 27 and 30, I was okay, no major, ovarian pain or period cramps, but I developed something else, ovarian cyst. It's on and off. So I had like really, really bad cyst where they had to actually do another laparoscopy to cut it out because because it was so big. Like they said, it was as big as like bigger than the ovary. Like it was big as like a golf ball, basically. Obviously with ovarian cyst, the problem is that if you leave it and it burst, or it could cause severe damage to the ovaries, and it could even cause torsion, which is like cut out the blood supply to the ovaries. So I had to have another laparoscopy. Gee whiz. So at this point, I'm just like, what is going on? Why does my body hate me? And the doctor was just telling me, the gynae, he's like, you know what? The only thing that you need to do that can actually cure this is to have a baby. You need to have a child. Basically, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's like, I don't know. So it said that's one of the cures. So basically, and but that was like 30. Yeah, so 5 years, fast forward 5 years later, I met my children's father, and yeah, we had our first baba. I had my first daughter, I was 35. Um, Grateful because, my gyno always told me that if ever I want to have children, I'll probably need to start fertility treatment and the whole shebang bang. I didn't have to do that. I'm grateful. Like it was just natural. Um, yeah, and then obviously, so at 35, I had my first child, and then at 37, I had my second child. Both of them, like I fell pregnant naturally. I didn't have to do any IV treatment, so I'm grateful for that. Yeah, but my birth story for both my kids' birth stories. That's a video for another day. Yeah, so I'm hoping that by sharing my story, that I inspire somebody else out there. Like if you have endometriosis, you can do research on this. I think there's not enough talks about it. Not a lot of women know what they're going through when they have their monthly cycle. So basically, for me, what I was told is that when the scar tissue happened, that's because my body, instead of bleeding outside, when you have your menstrual period, you bleed out. I was bleeding inside. So basically, all that blood caused the scar tissue. So, but up until this point, they checked again. I'm clean. I do not say clean. I'm basically endometriosis free. It hasn't come back. I'm grateful and I'm very happy. Yeah. So if anybody tells you that you have, endometriosis, ovarian cyst, and your chances of having a child is zero, or it's going to be difficult, all I can say is that pray on it, give it to God, and yeah, work through the 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 pain management and all of that with your gynae or specialist. Just make sure that you are seeing somebody that can help you. Yeah, okay, that's it. I think I'm trying to remember most of it, but it's been a while. Those are dog years ago. So, yeah, so endometriosis is not the end. Okay, I am a testimony to that. Diagnosed with it at 27, 26, 27, and here I am with my two kids. Yeah, so grateful. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one. Bye.